All right, here's what my take on the Russian thing. Um, I am not in either camp of the Russia ruined and hacked and destroyed our election in 2016, nor am I in the other extreme camp, which is this is all bullshit. It never happened. I'm not in either of those camps. I have a lot of confidence, even though he's a Republican or once was a Republican. I have a lot of confidence in Mueller. He's a very bright guy, and he seems to be doing bad guys. What he comes up with, I think that something happened. I don't know what happened and what exact effect it had. So I'm kind of in between the two extreme positions, between the bullshit and oh my God, it's terrible positions. That's my best answer.
But can't you say, because like I think technically I'm in that camp too. However, I'd be a little more hardline about it because you can say, yes, there still might be something that may or may not be uncovered, as vague as that is. Because I get it. It's an in-depth investigation. However, that doesn't mean there hasn't been some bullshit that's come along with it. I would say the Russia hysteria is bullshit. You can say that that's bullshit and still be like, look, go ahead and investigate something. When we have something to talk about, let us know. In the meantime, this constant hysteria by the corporate media, this whole, these 13 Russian trolls that made these memes that weren't even in proper English half the time, that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Yeah. I don't disagree with area. Should calm down and we should all wait and see what's there. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, and my other question, and I know this isn't really directed at you. I mean, you're kind of in like the proper skeptical camp, but like, how long do they need? I mean, it's like the people that bought this hook, line, and sinker, you're basically subscribing to the idea that Donald Trump, who has the subtlety of a horse taking a shit in the middle of Manhattan, somehow has managed to stay a step ahead of every intelligence agency. Somehow he has managed to evade every intelligence agency. I find that incredibly hard to believe, regardless of who he surrounded himself with. I find that incredibly hard to believe. I don't see how anybody doesn't.
Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, he's done a very inept job of trying to cover it up, if he's trying to cover it up, because everybody around him is falling quickly. Remember, you lived through Watergate, but I did. And the way Nixon went down was one by one, all the people around him started to get arrested and go down. Haldeman, Ehrlichman, they all went down, and this circle started around Nixon, and then finally goes on for him because Nixon was an evil guy, but he was a lot smarter than Trump. Finally, Nixon, the light bulb goes on, and he says, I better get the hell out of here before this thing falls on me. He goes to Ford, makes his deal. I'll quit if you pardon me, and he's gone. Trump's not as smart as Nixon, but I think that the wagons are circling and starting to close in on Trump. And is it moving fast enough for a lot of people? No. But is it happening? I mean, that's what I see, the parallels between the two situations.
Yeah, that's
I want Trump gone.
So, all right, let's say they find collusion, which they may. I mean, they might. But let's say they do, just for like hypothetical sake. We'll say they do, they find collusion. It's enough to bring Trump down. We get President Pence. Was all of this worth it? Keep in mind, the FBI is monitoring social media more than they ever have before. Silicon Valley is determining what is and isn't free speech. There's an attack on independent media that is literally a new Red Scare. This is a new Red Scare. This is New Age McCarthyism as an offshoot of all of this. A ton of policies are not being talked about at all because our corporate media is talking about Russia pretty much 24/7. Would all of this be worth it to say the words President Pence?
I don't know, but what I think is if Trump is taken down by this investigation, and by the way, there's no crime called collusion. The crime would be obstruction of justice, and the crime would be perjury and lying and some other things. But if Trump is taken down in this whole mess, there will be a very strong message sent, not just to Pence and everybody else, but to the whole country and the world that we're not just going to allow this to happen in the U.S. And if it does happen, we're going to get it out and take care of it. Is Pence worse than Trump or the same, as bad as Trump? Maybe, but he's a different kind of bad.
Maybe.
He's a, well, there are those, I don't like his religious fervor. That's very bothersome. But it's a different, he has, I think, more respect for our institutions than Trump is. Just completely outside the whole country. I don't know where he is. He's on another planet Trump, probably. He's probably on planet Trump. And Pence has a lot more experience. He's been a governor. I think he's been a senator, and he knows how things.
Yeah, he has experience doing terrible things. I mean, it's basically like, I'd rather have a competent sociopath than an incompetent sociopath. I'd rather have an incompetent one. If we're going to have a psychopath in the White House who has these horrific policy ideas, I'd rather have it be Donald Trump, because he's having such a hard time getting stuff done, versus Mike Pence. If Trump gets impeached tomorrow, I'll tell you what I think will happen. What I think would happen, we get President Pence, who would be competent, who would be able to get stuff done easier. He wouldn't get good stuff done. He'd get horrible stuff done. The Republicans would have enough time to distance themselves from Trump. And in the midterms, because there is basically no opposition as it is, nothing would happen in the midterms. I think at least we're guaranteed some small gains, maybe even some big gains, depending on what happens between now and then. I just don't see any which way. And the people that say, oh, well, Trump's just on a... the difference between Trump and any other Republican? Trump talks meaner and has no sense of subtlety. That's why the intelligence agencies don't like him. They don't like him. It's not that they dislike him because of some moral stance. They don't give a shit. They think in terms of endless war. They think in terms of defense. They don't like Trump because they're worried he's going to say something dumb they don't want the public to hear. They want someone who will continue the military-industrial complex with a smile on their face. Pence would gladly do that. Hillary Clinton would have gladly done that. Barack Obama did it. Bush the first did it. Bush the second did it. Every president in my lifetime, and probably yours too, Stephen, did it. Trump might be too dumb to do that. That's why they don't like him. This whole idea... Unless Pence gets swept up in whatever happens to Trump. Do you think that will happen?
It could. I don't know. I don't know what Mueller's up to.
Fair enough. I
don't know.
And I share your skepticism. I guess I'm just a little more weary. But
well, you're entitled to that, and there is no right or wrong answer. Neither of us knows.
I'm with you. No, totally. There is no right or wrong answer. I think that all the cyclical effects that we've seen so far are dangerous. And a lot of this is totally a red scare. And this should have been one of those things that, when they have something to talk about, we should talk about it. But that has not been how this unfolded at all. As a rhetorical event, this has been handled miserably. And it's been done so for the establishment's sake. It's been done so for the corporate media to try to retain their stronghold. It's been done so for the Democrats to avoid looking in the mirror. And it's been done so just for all the wrong reasons, And I, believe me, we both agree on how despicable Trump is. Trump is absolutely despicable. Absolutely. But there is not one policy he has that isn't just a normal Republican policy. The difference between him and other Republicans, he talks meaner. That's the difference. He talks meaner.
Well,
I don't think a human.
Well, he's done a couple things lately where he's talked about literally taking away food and heat from poor people. Literally taking away food and heat, canceling the food stamp program and delivering food in boxes, which is totally impractical and can't be done.
Republicans applauded that. Republicans totally applauded that.
Well, the answer is to get rid of at least the start is to get rid of the Democratic enablers, starting with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, I don't mean to bring up my own campaign, but that's a true statement. There are people in Congress who are Democrats, and I use quotes for that, who are enablers of Trump, and they've got to go. Start at the top.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.